This is the second and last day of a 2-day walk for me. It's 5 days overall, but I haven't recorded the whole thing. I thought maybe it was just a little bit too much to do in one video, so I'm trying to do just the interesting and what I think would be the interesting part, and that is today. And I'll just break it down into a few chunks to show you some of the good stuff that you can get down here. I'll tell you more about the walk as we go along.
Although I only joined the Weald Way at Uckfield, the route officially begins at Gravesend in Kent and continues for around 95 miles through the heart of the Weald before reaching the South Downs and the coast. The name Weald comes from an old Germanic word meaning forest, and for centuries this part of southeast England was one of the wildest and most heavily wooded regions in the country. Before modern roads and railways, travelling between the Weald could be slow, muddy and difficult. Today, it's a landscape of rolling fields and quiet villages. But for much of history, it was regarded as a remote frontier between Kent and Sussex. As I headed south from Uckfield, I was effectively walking from England's ancient wooded heartland towards one of its most dramatic coastlines. It's hard to imagine now looking across the open farmland, but much of this landscape was once covered in dense woodland. The Weald supplied timber for shipbuilding, charcoal for iron smelting, and wood for countless local industries. In fact, long before the Industrial Revolution, Sussex was one of England's most important iron producing regions. Roman iron workers operated throughout the Weald nearly 2,000 years ago, exploiting the area's rich iron ore deposits. Archaeologists have found evidence of dozens of furnaces scattered across the countryside. Every quiet stream and wooded valley you pass through on this walk may once have echoed with the sound of furnaces, hammering and industry. One thing you notice while walking through Sussex is the number of old sunken lanes and narrow paths. Many of these routes are incredibly ancient. Some began as animal tracks used by prehistoric people moving livestock between lowland pastures and the downs. Over centuries, carts, horses and travellers wore these tracks deeper into the soft ground, creating distinctive hollowways that still survive today. When you're walking through one of these tree-lined lanes, you may be following an ancient route that's been in continuous use for over 1,000 years or more. As the route approaches the South Downs, the landscape begins to change dramatically.
I can see the South Downs looming in the distance. The bumpy hills are waiting for us.
The chalk hills rise ahead and eventually the walk enters the Cuckmere Valley, one of the most beautiful river valleys in southern England. The River Cuckmere winds through the landscape in sweeping meanders that have changed surprisingly little over the centuries. Unlike many British rivers that were straightened for agriculture or navigation, much of the Cuckmere was left to follow its natural course. The area has appeared in countless films, television programmes and photographs because it captures something many people think of as the quintessential English countryside. One of the most famous landmarks on the route is the Long Man of Wilmington. Cut into the chalk hillside, the figure stands around 72 metres tall and can be seen from miles away. No one knows exactly when it was created. Some historians believe it may have ancient origins, while others think it could be much more recent, dating perhaps from the 16th or 17th century.
There he is! There's our man! Let's go and have a word with him.
The two staffs he carries have inspired countless theories. Some people see him as a giant, others as a pagan god, a pilgrim, or even a forgotten local hero. Whatever the truth may be, the Long Man remains one of England's most mysterious hill figures.
Is it ancient or is it not? That is the question.
Standing beneath him, it's easy to understand why people have been fascinated by this chalk giant for generations.
If there's anything that epitomises the quirkiness and the weirdness of the history of the UK, it's this thing. You've got to see things like this in this country if you come in here, because it's completely wild. Madness.
The Long Man of Wilmington is a massive hill figure carved into the steep chalk slopes of Windover Hill. At 235 or 72 metres tall, it is Europe's largest representation of the human form.
Well, here he is. This is the guy we were come to see in this scenic spot in Sussex, and he's a bit mysterious. But all we do know is he stood here for a long time, but maybe not as long as first thought.
The figure depicts a stylised man holding two vertical staves, one in each hand. The true origin, age and purpose of the Long Man remain entirely unknown, because there are no definitive historical records explaining who or why it was created. Several theories have emerged over the years. For decades, people believed he was an ancient pagan god, a prehistoric warrior or a fertility symbol. However, modern archaeology has thrown us a curveball. Tests suggest the giant might actually date back to the 16th or 17th century, making him an early modern piece of landscape art. Whether he's a forgotten Anglo-Saxon god, a giant from local folklore, or an elaborate historical prank, the Long Man keeps his secrets well.
The reason he's there and stands out like that is because of the soil around here, and it's this stuff. There's the chalky soil that we see underneath. If I just do a bit of that, there's some white on me already. And this chalk stands out. So I can only guess that the ancient people figured that out years ago and decided to use it as some sort of system for, I don't know, marking territory, doing designs. We've all heard of the white horses and things that you get on chalk hills. Well, this is a twist on that. However, this one, at the moment, as we look at it, is not chalk. That's not what we can see right there.
While it looks like a traditional chalk carving from a distance, the lines are actually made of white painted concrete blocks that were put in place during a 1969 restoration to keep the figure visible. Now, this is a great fact. During World War II, the British government painted the whole figure green so that the enemy German aircraft could not use it as a navigational reference point.
Right, a bit of a reality check here. I love these walks, absolutely love being out here. It is spectacular. But I got to tell you, my feet are killing me. You've only got to be a little bit out of practice with this sort of thing. You get hot spots and a few blisters. You can patch them up as much as you like. Your feet have got to harden up. There's no shortcuts for that one. And I'm just a little bit out of practice. Never mind, we push through the pain and get the rewards. That's what it's all about. I'm gonna make it for sure. And I'll let my feet recover another day.
The final section of the walk crosses the South Downs, a landscape shaped by chalk laid down around 100 million years ago, when much of southern England lay beneath a warm tropical sea. The chalk itself is made from the remains of countless microscopic marine organisms. So when you're walking across these bright white hills, you're actually walking over the compressed remains of ancient ocean life.
Well, here's a fun fact for you. This little village of Jevington is the birthplace of the famous banoffee pie, if you've ever heard of it. Invented in this place in 1972. Banoffee, of course, being a portmanteau of two words, banana and toffee.
The South Downs may look gentle, but the exposed ridges can feel surprisingly wild. For centuries, they served as natural highways across the landscape, allowing travellers to move above the muddy landscape below.
The last section of the Weald Way now. 8 kilometres to go to Eastbourne. Well, I'll be able to call it a day and give my aching feet a rest. But this is where the scenery changes a bit. Up on top of the downs, and you get these spectacular views. I can see the sea out there, but it is very inviting, and we will soon be there. 8 kilometres to go. And just like that, there it is. There's a trig point over there, tells us we're at the top. And as you come over this brow of this hill, we're greeted by views of Eastbourne down below and the gold dome of Eastbourne Pier I can see there. So basically, go that way.
One of the pleasures of long distance walking is the moment the landscape reveals your destination. After miles of fields, woodland and hills, the sea eventually appears on the horizon. Eastbourne marks the official end of the Weald Way, where the wooded landscape of Kent and Sussex finally give way to the English Channel.
And with that, here we are back in civilization, down on the seafront here in Eastbourne. Check out this view. That makes me happy. No more hills, just a flat promenade. And that is a sight for sore eyes, but mainly feet.
For walkers completing the entire route, it's a significant moment. Nearly 100 miles of countryside end here. After 2 days of walking, there's something satisfying about seeing the sea for the first time.
Right, we finished the walk and somehow I've managed to win a prize. What have I got?
You've got a medal, mate. Congratulations.
Oh, I've got a chocolate medal. Look at that. Oh. Result.
Yay! Oh, look, you are actually eating it.
Not the most scenic of ending points, but it's pretty good, pretty good. If we turn the camera around and look out that way, this is the end of Eastbourne Pier. Cracking little spot on a windy day like this. There you go, there's our view. I made it. The last couple of sections of the Weald Way walk. Down here, because I want to show you these crazy people in the sea. There we are. There's a few mad buggers in the sea, and that's us. Job done. Walk completed. Feet wrecked. Hungry stomach. I'm eating a beer. I will see you next time. I'm out of here. See ya. That's it. That's hit the spot. See you later.